share some of the new features for AutomatePro release 8.2. This release, today I'm going to highlight the test editor, and there is a graphical test editor and the hierarchical test editor. I will share what both of those are, and then I'll share the new and very cool features of the new visual test editor. So we begin at the control console by going into a test plan. Bring up a recently run. Let's go into the origin test plan. Now, when I refer to the hierarchical test, I'm referring to this bottom section here where we have the test blocks as a container and the order of execution, 10 being first, 20 second, so on and so on. And then the number of test steps, checks for each of these. We know that, for example, when we are in the process of logging in and submitting an incident, we'll go into this block since it has the most steps and checks to look at. When we want to edit a block from the hierarchical editor, we see that we've got each test step number for the block, navigating to the Create New module, populating the caller reference, typing in the short description field, and populating the assignment group reference and hitting Submit. Those are the main test steps, and then, of course, validating the form. So if we wanted to add to this, we could select New and add another step in underneath. This is how the hierarchical steps work. Now I'm going to switch orders, go back to the test plan, and I'll show you what the visual test plan editor looks like. Same features, same ability to add a new row or add a model block, but with the test plan editor, we have a graphical interface. Now I'll show you what's new in this, and new and cool, much requested features. This is the test plan editor. Just like the hierarchical editor, you see your login caller, submit the incident, take a screenshot when we're done, and you can maximize the plus symbol to see each step in a visual format that the test is performing. Same as the hierarchical, just presented in a more graphical for those that prefer to see the relationships and the nesting functionality. This allows them to see it more graphically. Now, let's say, for example, you are wanting to add a weight or an action into this. I'm going to add a weight into the Navigate Create New module in the incident application, just to allow AutomatePro to have a little chance to run before ServiceNow catches it. Now, to add any actions, checks, or blocks, you begin with, do I want to insert an action, a check, or a block? The new features of this actions, checks, and blocks selector from your visual test plan editor is that now you can click on actions. You have a clear indication on which of these three sections you're in and what you can pick from with regards to actions. You can now filter it by the types of things that you are looking to test against. You can set platform filters on things like configurable workspaces, forms, lists, whatever you wanted to filter. You could also filter by category. In this case, you might say, if you wanted to add an attachment, you could do that. In this case, I want an action and I want to add a weight. And what that does is I just find the action and I grab it and drop it in where I want it to go. which is right after we have logged in as the ITIL caller, we want to wait for 45,000 milliseconds. This will then add the order in, and we add how long we want this to wait, and this will put in 45,000 milliseconds and submit. Now, if I wanted to change anything at this point, for example, if I wanted to change the ITIL caller to another sort of user instead, I could go into model blocks and see what type of login I have. Here's our AMP caller. That's who we already have. If I wanted to instead change that to log in as ITIL user, I could simply drop that in underneath here and retire by clicking the X symbol to retire the AMP ITIL caller with just a click and drag. You can remove and retire using this X button. You can copy. But after you've got this set up the way you want, which this is pretty much set up the way we want, then you can run your create your test run right from the test plan editor. So this allows you the ability to graphically view and modify any of your test plans. It includes a lot of the features that our users were asking for, like the ability to copy and paste actions, the ability to clearly see which box I'm in, whether it be action, check, or model block. There's also some new actions and checks incorporated into that long list so that if you don't know what you're looking for, you can get a lot more support for that type of activity. Now we have loaded this particular test that we've just created. It's awaiting execution. I will let that go ahead and finish, but that is a good demonstration of the new functionality for the visual test editor. I hope you find that useful. And if for a new user, it certainly helps you to find out, what are the actions that I need to select to do what I'm used to clicking to get things done manually. All good things coming. 8.2 is compatible for Xanadu and backwards compatible for Washington. So there's a lot of great new functionality. We'll share more about that later.